What's good, kinfolk? It's your boy Don back again. I'll tell you what, sometimes collaborations work and sometimes they don't. A.J Fernandez is one of my favorite blenders. Well, let's see what he'll put together with this cigar produced with him and Diesel, also aged in Rabbit Hole bourbon cask. We'll see how this pairs well with this high gold single barrel select today. So you guys stay tuned. I'm ready to pour up a little bit before I get started. I'll see y'all in a minute. Well, I'll tell you what, this Rabbit Hole single barrel is pretty damn delicious. Looking at some of the tasting notes online, it's got the sweet toasted malt tones you can get, because you get that little sweetness from it. But this is a stronger whiskey. Being a single barrel, this one is 108.9 proof, and what they stated was that there's a lot of single barrels of this type out there, but they're going to vary in strength. So the one that I was able to procure is at 108.9%. 54.4% alcohol by volume. I got the 103rd bottle of 210, and all of these have a different artist redemption. That's a word I can say of for these bottles. So they all have different labels on them by different artists, and I picked this one up. I thought it was pretty cool. It's the Hatter, really neat. But yeah, the bourbon's really good. Palate, butterscotch, burst citrus. You can taste all that in here. And of course, that pepper finish. There's a bubblegum note on the nose there, but it's really good. But we ain't here to talk about the whiskey. We're here to talk about this Diesel Whiskey Roast cigar. Now, disclaimer: I've had this cigar before. It has been some time since I smoked it. Whether I liked it or not the first time, I maybe thought it was okay, but I didn't write any notes about it. So diving back in today to get it started, and it was great. Seeing the fact that I could get my hands on a bottle of that single barrel select. So this cigar wasn't aged in that whiskey's barrel. I don't really know which whiskey or bourbon it was aged in. I just know it was aged in Rabbit Hole bourbon cask. So we should get some bourbon notes in there. But on the nose, you get that oak spice. Like it's been sitting in something. But I also have had this in my humidor without the cellophane on it for some time. So it could have picked up the Spanish cedar notes too of the humidor. So a better way to get an in-depth feel for the cigar would be to cut it and get a cold draw to see the inside of that and see if we can pick up anything else. And so far, no, there's no whiskey notes that I can pick up so far. It's a lot of earth notes. Slight woodsy notes, but not too much for oak. And also I've been drinking the bourbon, so of course palate could be blown way out of proportion right now, which is fine. But the cigar is decent. This is the Gigante 6x60. Believe, and I'm gonna go through some notes here. This is the medium full range as far as strength, and the wrapper Ecuadorian Habano, binder is Mexican, and the filler is Nicaraguan. So we got a nice mixture of different tobaccos in this cigar. Again, A.J Fernandez, I really like what he produces and like the way he blends his cigar. So hoping, like I said, I've had this cigar before, but I really don't remember it. So what better way to jump back in and get another take on this? So let's go into it. This 6x60 Gigante is pretty big right now in the field. I normally go for a Robusto. I do like the 5 or 5.5 by 52s or 54 gauge. That's more of my range where I like to stick with. This is more on the bigger end. And it takes quite a while to get this one lit. what I can tell you is the big difference is once you go to the wider range cigars, the flavors do change quite a bit. If you get a Lancero, a skinnier cigar, Toro, the flavors can be more concentrated through that cigar because the ratios of tobaccos are different. So on this one, we got a whole lot of filler, right? And then the binder. So really gonna be able to taste that filler. And of course the wrapper, which is a good portion now, but you're getting a lot of filler when you're getting these gigantic cigars. So if you're really wanting to get the feel of what the blender was thinking with some of these cigars, blends that they create, you can go with the larger cigars, but if you want a more concentrated feel, then go with your skinnier cigars. Man, tons of smoke output in that. Man, and it's a flavorful explosion right now. Man, and it's airy, but not too airy. It's got some tension to it with the pull, but good from what I'm experiencing right now. And if it was too airy, I'd be worried because it'll probably smoke too fast, and I really don't want that. But man, the smoke output is thick. Man, it's hanging in there. Let me tell you, that retro hill is so smooth. It's white pepper on the retro hill, doesn't burn at all right now. Once we get down to the second, third, and final third, I'm pretty sure that'll pick up. But right now, it's really smooth cigar, and I really don't remember it being this smooth like this. I would think if I liked it, I would have rolled it down, but I didn't at that time. And maybe it just, I had it and wasn't really thinking about it at that time. It just, it is what it is. But right now, it's really good. I like the oiliness on the wrapper here. Man, it's that the tobacco oils are really shining through on this cigar. There's quite a lot of those explosive flavor bumps that contains all those tobacco resins or whatnot on here. So they are starting to seep out of those bumps, and with aging, that's what happens. Sometimes you get those cellophane wrappers, they're all brown or whatnot, and that's because of all the oils that seeped out of that tobacco in that cigar are now on that wrapper. That could be a good thing and a bad thing too, because a lot of times, once that seeps out, it mellows the cigar out too much, and you're not getting what the cigar blender intended you to get when they produce that cigar. So sometimes aging is good, sometimes it's not. Yeah, that's really good right now. Now the oakiness is starting to come through in this cigar. Really intense oak, and it's just that spiciness overlay on that too. And there's a fruit note I'm trying to pick up. I want to say it's kind of banana, but I don't know. Let's look through some notes here to see. Let's cheat a little bit. And unfortunately, where I'm looking at, there's nothing. But I do know this cigar is rated 91 for Cigar Aficionado, 92 is Cigar Snob, and it's top 25 in the Cigar Coupe in 2019. So it's done pretty good so far. It's done really good. I'll tell you, I went to Diesel's website to get a little bit more information about the cigar, and it's not a ton of information on there. So I went to Cigar International just to get some more clarity, because I'm picking up on things that I don't quite understand. I'm trying to figure it out, but apparently, so the fillers are long filler Nicaraguan, which we know. Mainly your handmade cigars are long filler, right? But there's 3 different growing regions: Ometepe, Jalapa, and Condega. Apparently been aged from 5 to 8 years. The bourbon barrel aged binder is Mexican San Andres. Okay. And altogether 5 years aged Ecuadorian Habano wrapper. So yeah, the barrel aging produces a strong oaky flavor and hints of bourbon and aroma. You'll also notice some floral notes. I think that's what it is. It's that floral note. So it's got this spiciness and also this sweetness to it. And I'm trying to lean towards a fruity note, a banana or something, but it's not quite that. So it's that floral note. And like I said, taste is very subjective, so I'm no expert whatsoever. But sometimes when you taste these notes, you don't know where to go to. You got to really look at some more detailed information, such as what you can find online about it. But again, Go for what you can sense in the cigar. But that one is pretty hard. I couldn't get it. But yeah, floral, yeah, that's what it is. And it's bready-like nuances too. It's got a sweetness of brown sugar too that goes really well. This first half of this cigar, I'm enjoying it a whole lot. This cigar probably run you, let's say between $10 and $15 a stick or less. You probably find it less. Shop around for it. But it's really good right now. Now, as we get further into the cigar, it may hold some different areas that I may not feel is that great. But right now, it's really good. It's going very well with the high gold single barrel. Really good. Very good notes on this and the cigar. Perfect pairing to keep it within the same family of with the binders, with the blenders we're trying to showcase, and of course what the distillery was trying to showcase as well. So I'll go ahead and smoke this down to the second, third, and update you if anything changes, or if I just want to come back on and talk. I'll tell you one thing about this cigar, man. The smoke consistency, good Lord. Tons of smoke output from this cigar, y'all. And again, it's because of the gauge. The bigger the gauge, the more smoke. And it's definitely holding true with this cigar right here. This is a very, very good pick right now in the second, third. Ash still holding on very good. Now, part of that being because it's a bigger gauge cigar. It's a lot more to it, which keeps that ash retention from falling off. Whether the ash falls off, whether it stays on, it's neither here or there, right? The main purpose for that ash, again, is to kind of regulate the temperature of the cigar and keep it a little cooler. That's what you want. If the ash is always falling off, it's probably not a very good constructed cigar, or you might be smoking it a little too fast. So when you get these cigars where the ash is holding on pretty good and for a good amount of time, it's a good thing. But I don't necessarily like to keep it on there forever. Again, if it's getting too long, I go ahead and just tap it off, right? Because it'll end up just falling in your lap anyway, and who wants that, right? Rookie move. So just try to maintain that ash and take it off as you need it. But like I said, the cigar is really good, y'all, and this bourbon whiskey is holding on very well. Now I will mention that this bourbon is also a rye. Okay, it's a rye bourbon, and if you don't know, bourbons have a high amount of corn in them, which makes them a little bit sweeter, which makes them a bourbon. Okay, so you're gonna have about 51% or more worth of corn in there, which makes it a bourbon. So with that, it's also a higher rye bill in there too, which puts it in the same class too. So it's a rye bourbon. A lot of spicy notes from the rye and sweeter notes from your bourbon. Either way, really good. Now, I also want to note that I've had a lot of Rabbit Hole, and Rabbit Hole is good. But here's the but. There's a lot of them in the collection. You got the high gold here with the high rash bill. You got the Derringer, which is aged in a sherry cask. And you also have the Cave Hill, which is a bourbon whiskey. It's a 4-grain triple malt. It's a little bit stronger. And also the Boxer Grill, which is also another rye. And I believe there's another one too. And really, they all have these similarities to me, and it's very hard for me to really say that one is better than the other. My favorite one is the sherry cask aged one, and the Derringer, and it's really good. That's the best one of the main line that I like. It's really hard for me to really distinguish the flavor profiles of the other ones, right? But I do favor for the ryes. Now, if you get a chance to get your hands on a single barrel select, such as the high gold here, you want to go for those because they're special and they're unique. There's only so many of them out there, and they're kind of hard to get. So when you see them, get them. The big difference is the owners of say, let's say brick and mortar liquor stores may be able to select their barrels that the whiskey was aged in. So it gets a different profile from your normal whiskey that you can get on the store shelves. So they offer a different flavor profile, and that could be good. And they really are good. And a lot of them are worth their weight. So if you see them, get them. But again, this is really good. Fan of the Rabbit Hole, fan of A.J Fernandez, and so far, the Diesel Whiskey Roll cigar is holding on pretty strong here. Not having any problems with the draw, not having any problems with it's getting a little wavy on me, but again, not a big deal for me. The cigar is really good. It's holding very well. I would say that the flavor profile is picking up on the spicier notes, getting a lot of the black pepper now. So the retrohales are getting a lot more spicier and a lot less pleasant to do. So I do it less often now. So Diesel Whiskey Roll, y'all, this is really good. I'm gonna smoke this down on final third. Updates again if anything changes. We'll see you in a bit. All right, y'all. So immediately after I cut for the second through the second third of the cigar, that's when the ash fell off. So go figure, right? That's exactly when it happens. But did have a drastic change to this cigar, and now it sparks a memory of why I don't really remember the cigar, or why I never got it again. So the flavor profile changed dramatically right into this final third here, and and not in a good way, right? So first third, second third, really good flavors. I won't say phenomenal, but well balanced. It's really good. But right now I got this final third, it just got muddied up. You get the darker notes, but they're not the good darker notes. So if you have a coffee and you roasted your own beans, it's almost like you over roasted it, and it's starting to get a burnt, muddied up cigar. Almost like if you smoked a cigar and you set it down and then you came back to it hours later to try to smoke it again, and the flavor profile doesn't taste the same as it did before. That's what I'm going through right now. I didn't set it down, didn't relight it or anything else. It just doesn't taste good into this final third of the cigar anymore. Just some of the darker tones that I don't really care for in a cigar, and especially a cigar that that I expect more out of, or one blended with the blender, of course, A.J Fernandez. And not a hit against A.J Fernandez. It's just that, you know, it doesn't do well for me. So if I'm going to be honest with the cigar review of the cigar, I would say that no, I wouldn't get for me, I wouldn't have a box of these cigars, but every now and then I might pull one out. And I think for the next go around, if I were to get this cigar again, I will probably go with a smaller size, probably in a Robusto format. Might be a little bit more well balanced, but for this cigar at this size, once you get down to this final third, it just kind of falls flat. So I mean, it did get high ratings from other individuals, but again, remembering that taste is subjective, everybody's not going to agree with what's out there. And of course, you guys are not going to agree with what I'm saying too, or you might, and that's okay. But I stand on what I'm saying here, and it's now that I remember about the cigar is that, you know, if a cigar doesn't hold well through the first, second, and through the third, I'm not really going to remember it. Once it falls flat, it's like, what the fuck, right? Because I enjoyed the first half, I enjoyed the second half, and it's like, wow, for it to fall flat like that, the only thing that's saving this cigar right now is the bourbon that I'm pairing this with. Bourbon is by far my favorite out of this whole session right now. But again, I'm not trying to kick this cigar in the teeth, but man, I just really, really wish it held through the final third of this cigar. It's mellowing out a little bit now, but again, it could be. I didn't smoke it too fast, as you saw the picture of when the ash fell off. It's pretty even, right? So when your ash falls off on your cigar, and if you notice the cone shape where your ash is, red hot amber glow, and it's a cone shape, that means you're smoking it too fast, right? But I didn't have this with the cigar, so I know I'm pacing myself pretty decently with the cigar, and I know I'm not smoking it too fast. And it could have been just right where it was rolled at. There was this little funky tone in there somewhere, and it just is what it is. But it's okay. It's an okay cigar. I recommend that you smoke at least once or whatever, and if you like it, then cool, keep it. But for me, in my taste, there's other ones out there that I enjoy a whole lot better. But yeah, just make sure you got some ventilation with this cigar, because as you can see here, this smoke ain't going nowhere. It's thick, and it's just hanging around. it's hanging around just like this final third that I don't enjoy. But I'm gonna keep smoking it down. Let's see if I can get it down even further and see if I like it. Won't update you on anything else with this cigar, but just note that this is the last cigar of 2023 and probably the first video of 2024. So that's the way we're bringing it out, and that's where we're bringing it in. And I appreciate the support that I had throughout the 2023 season. I'm glad to be back in the saddle and producing more cigar videos from you. Excited to see what 2024 holds, and I'm really glad that you guys are sticking with me throughout this journey that I'm on. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification button. I promise you I'll bring the most honest reviews as I can, and hopefully that'll save you a few dollars in the process. I guess next few videos, I do plan on giving you guys a tour of my humidor and showing you what I have and where I store my sticks and maybe what I have in there. So you guys stay tuned. Until the next time, we'll see you next year. You guys have a wonderful, blessed year. We'll see you on the next video. Y'all know the motto, be kind to one another and be kindred in the leaf. We'll see you on the next video.